To get something we want, we'll have to become something we've never been. To get something we want, we'll have to become something we've never been. Why? Because everything that happens to us, all of the results that come to us in our lives, and those results could be the experience that we have of relationships, it could be the results that we get from our work, how we perform, the money we make, the interactions we have with people, any situation or circumstance in our life. If we want those to be different, we'll have to become different. If we want something that's greater in a higher frequency, we could say, which is more money, more loving relationships, more passionate experiences of a daily life, a greater experience of our physical body, then we'll have to become something that we've never been, meaning we'll have to level up. We'll have to increase our frequency. Now, the reason I'm talking about this right now, and I want to zero in on one aspect of this, is that in order to get something that we want, become something we've never been, we'll have to leave our self-absorbed, processing, kind of self-centered, emotional world. Now, here's what I mean specifically. And I'm talking to those of us who have been engaged in therapy for a long time. I'm a therapist, right? 20 years ago, during my training as a therapist, it was the first time that I went into therapy as well. I was in intensive therapy for about 3 or 4 years, going and seeing somebody once or twice a week, and involved in a very intensive therapeutic group that went for about 3 years. At the same time, I was achieving my master's degree in psychology. It was an incredible time in my life. I learned so much about myself. I healed so much of the traumas that I grew up with in my life from my early family of origin. I was molested when I was 6 years old by a 9-year-old boy, and I navigated all of that and did what I needed to do to get clear around that. At this point, I can share this with you, the public, and with you, and I feel really clean and clear about it, right? A lot of issues with my family of origin, a lot of messed up dynamics, a lot of trauma, I would actually say there, that I navigated. Now, that is so important for us to look at, to address, to navigate for ourselves with the help of someone else, like a therapist or a coach or a group or whatever it is. It's so important to navigate that. And it's also critical to leave that world of processing endlessly about trauma and being triggered and all of those things for ourselves. Now, here's what I learned about myself over those 3 or 4 years. I actually loved processing. My friends who were mostly in my grad school program at that time, we loved processing. Oh my God. And there was an element of adventure to it, an exploration and a real deep satisfaction of like knowing myself and learning about myself, my personality. That was so great. And I still use all of that to this day. However, for me to become the person that I wanted to become, meaning someone who is daily joyful, happy, stoked, peaceful, achieving great results in the roles that I have. And I have many roles in my life right now, as a monk, as a personal assistant to a very high achieving, performing person of high net worth. What else? I'm a psychotherapist. I have a practice that's very successful. I love swimming and doing hot yoga. I have a cold plunge. I'm doing all these different things. And I have a lot of roles and responsibilities even outside of those that I mentioned. For me to have this life that I have now, and to achieve the things that I want to achieve, I had to pierce and exit that highway of self-absorbed processing where I talked about all of my different triggers and this hurt me and that hurt me. Oh my God, and the romantic relationships I was in then. I mean, they were sweet and loving and passionate, but they're also filled with so much drama and processing. We just couldn't hang out and be chill and love each other. We're just getting triggered this way and that. Now as I exited that world of processing and drama and heavy therapeutic focus, I started to experience this freedom in my life, this levity, this just fantastic nature. Now, for me, the end point of that, or I'll say the one of the endpoints of that came after exiting that world was exactly, thumbs up, was becoming a celibate monk. Right? That will not happen to you. 99.999% of you, that will not happen to. Most of you will get these fantastic relationships, be very fulfilled by your job. You'll start a new business. You'll start achieving and doing different things. But it absolutely takes piercing this world of processing that's very self-absorbed in its nature and essential in moments and for minutes of our lives. I would say for a minute in our lives, I think that's very important to do. In fact, when we get triggered, or when I get triggered, which I still do, in fact, I was just like traveling across the world, and that always brings up some frustrations for me. People aren't moving either fast enough, or I really don't like how TSA goes through my stuff and just kind of fondles all my things. So there's plenty of times that I get kind of upset about things, or something comes up and I feel ashamed. That's kind of one of my go-to patterns. We address that for a minute. Feel it. Navigate it, take some deep breaths, talk to somebody, you can complain about it a little bit, express just how good it is to be a victim sometimes, which is something I do, and then move ahead. The windshield on a car is 20 times bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason, because you're focused on where you're going in a vehicle. It's very important. The same is true about our lives. It's so important that we focus on where we're going, not where we've been. And again, if things come up from the past, beautiful. Feel it, navigate it, do what you got to do to get through it, and then get back to moving forward towards what you want. We won't get what we want if we don't become what we need to become, right? We need to become something greater, something bigger, if we want our results to be different than how they are now. So here's my invitation to you. Notice if you get caught in this self-absorbed world of processing, of emotions, of feeling a lot, of focusing on being triggered about things, or how this isn't working, or that's not working. Notice it, look at it, and look at it very clearly. That's one of the beautiful parts of therapy and the therapeutic process, is you look at things very clearly without denial or delusion. But then pierce that and move forward and focus on what you want and where you're going. And as you focus on whatever it is that you want, whether it's more money, whether it's a better job, whether it's a better relationship, with a greater experience of your physical health and your physical body, any of that and all of that is possible. And I'm an example of that for myself. When we focus on those things, what will happen is we will start to experience circumstances and relationships and interactions that bring us closer to those things. If we're focused on the rearview mirror and the heavy processing nature of that, then we'll get those kinds of results. We'll get the same kind of relationships that bring up all of those same old patterns and old stuck points that we have. So I believe in you. You can do this. And remember, to get something you've never gotten, you'll have to become something you've never been. You got this. All the best.